Indonesia is ASEAN's largest economy and the world's most populous Muslim nation. China has been making significant inroads here.
Sangat bermanfaat bagi kami karena itu membuat efisiensi jarak tempuh antara Jakarta dan Bandung. Dahulu jarak Jakarta dan Bandung itu sekitar 2-3 jam. Sekarang bisa ditempuh dalam waktu 30 menit.
As Indonesia searches for new paths to economic growth, China will play a key role in those plans.
The terminology of downstreaming is we would like to create more value added. So how you create that is actually you build an ecosystem of industry that connected each minerals that we have in Indonesia. To create a lithium battery, you cannot only rely on nickel. You need lithium, you need cobalt, you need copper, you need aluminum. And Indonesia have almost all of it. If you see the whole value chain of this lithium battery and the electric vehicle, I would say China have the most advanced and efficient technology.
But with tensions ongoing in the South China Sea between China and several ASEAN countries, how might Indonesia navigate these choppy waters?
China's strategy is that it would like to make other countries dependent upon them economically. At the same time, China would like to establish military dominance over them.
Why should China have any military ambitions against Indonesia?
In 2025, Indonesia deepens its military ties with China.
中印尼深化防务安全领域的合作，必将为构建具有地区和全球影响力的中印尼命运共同体提供有力的支撑。
On the Natunas, I think there's always been the discussion that let's try to look at it pragmatically.
Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim nation and Southeast Asia's largest economy with a population of over 280 million. Its potential is immense. Analysts expect Indonesia to become one of the world's leading emerging markets over the next decade, with the size of its GDP projected to rise from 1.3 trillion in 2022 to 4.1 trillion by 2035. In China's quest to win hearts and minds in the global south, it is of strategic importance.
Indonesia is important in several ways. First of all, Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. This in itself is very, very important. Secondly, Indonesia straddling for very long distance from the east to the west, so many islands involved, will be always a very important geopolitical position. Indonesia, in my best judgment, has huge economic upside, and they want to move the capital city from Jakarta to the biggest island in the country, and that will really involve a lot of hard work and engineering breakthroughs, a huge amount of capital investment. In Indonesia, you have the largest ethnic Chinese community, up to about 8 million people, the single largest ethnic Chinese diaspora, many of whom are Indonesian citizens, of course. That also makes Indonesia as a very special country from the Chinese perspective.
But how do Indonesians view China? Is it a reliable economic partner or a military adversary?
China Coast Guard, Indonesian Coast Guard calling. Please move away and go back to your territory, sir.
A survey in March 2024 showed that nearly 3/4 of Indonesians perceive China's activities in the South China Sea as a threat to their country's sovereignty. In the last 2 years, one Chinese-built megastructure has made a large impact on the economy here. This is Wush, Indonesia's first high-speed rail connecting the capital, Jakarta, with Bandung. Wush has been a game changer for many businesses in Bandung and Jakarta. Bandung, the capital of West Java, sits in the hills and has cooler year-round temperatures than most other Indonesian cities. The Dutch developed it as a resort center in the early 1900s, and it soon earned the nickname the Paris of Java. Bandung remains a popular holiday destination, but it used to take a 2.5-hour drive to get from Jakarta to here. Now, with Wush, it covers the 142-kilometer distance between Jakarta and West Bandung in some 30 minutes. And it's quite an experience for most Indonesian commuters. The high-speed train is clean, punctual, and comfortable, as it zips by the Indonesian landscape at more than 350 kilometers per hour.
Wush sangat bermanfaat bagi kami karena itu membuat efisiensi jarak tempuh antara Jakarta dan Bandung. Dahulu jarak Jakarta dan Bandung itu sekitar 2-3 jam. Sekarang bisa ditempuh dalam waktu 30 menit.
There are more check-ins at the Mason Pine Hotel since the arrival of high-speed rail travel. The conference business is booming too. Many Jakarta-based corporations are hosting off-site events in Bandung nowadays because a day trip to Bandung could take even less time than a commute within Jakarta.
Dari sisi MICE, bisnis kami, meeting, insentif, conference, dan exhibition sangat-sangat berdampak besar bagi Mason Pine Hotel. Kenaikannya itu lebih dari 20%. Sehingga tamu-tamu kami itu datang lagi ke hotel kami.
There was a lot of, discussion and polemic around the high-speed train. But I think after it was finished, people started using it. I think that the uptake was very, very fast and very incredible. And I think it made Indonesians also very proud that we actually have this high-speed train, and we are the first country in Southeast Asia. Maybe Australia doesn't even have a high-speed train. It is a very technologically advanced high-speed train. So in that sense, we are proud that this could be done in Indonesia. And it wasn't just Chinese engineers. There were also Indonesian engineers, and there was a partnership there. There was a lot of capacity building and training.
The project marked a pinnacle in Indonesia-China relations under previous President Joko Widodo.
刚才我和总统先生一起观摩了这个雅万高铁的试验运行，这些都是实实在在的成就。不仅造福了两国人民，这还在地区和全球层面产生积极影响，为发展中国家团结合作、互利共赢树立了样板。
President Prabowo made a campaign promise to continue the economic direction that Jokowi had set. And China was the first foreign country he visited after he won the elections, before his inauguration.
For us, we want to learn a lot from the experience of the People's Republic of China.
After he officially took power, China was again the first country he visited. During his visit, it was reported that President Prabowo secured more than $10 billion in investments from China in sectors spanning food security, renewable energy, and mining industrialization, among others. Joining BRICS was also an immediate priority for the Prabowo cabinet. Indonesia became an official member of BRICS on January 7, 2025, making it the first Southeast Asian country to be part of the organization. The BRICS group has become a major political force in the last 2 decades, building on its desire to create a counterweight to Western influence.
BRICS is truly based on economic cooperation, trade, and energy security, and many other technological sharing, for example. And with Indonesia joining BRICS, being the largest Muslim country in the world, has its significance.
We've seen Indonesia join BRICS earlier this year, and some view that as an indication that Indonesia is tilting towards China. What's your view?
So, one, yes, BRICS plus, but wanting to join the OECD, wanting to join the Gulf Council, part of the G20. So I see the broader picture is to expand Indonesia's influence, not particularly towards China.
Our foreign policy position is very clear, We don't want to lean toward to one of these axes, We will base our national foreign policy as well based on the national interests of Indonesia. Of course, we join BRICS, but if BRICS asks, if we do the de-dollarization, this is something that we will reject. I think it's not possible. And there is no benefit for us as well.
Indonesia's economy has been on an upward trajectory in the last decade. Its GDP grew from 890 billion in 2014 to 1.3 trillion in 2024. It is the largest economy in ASEAN. There are many drivers of growth in Indonesia. Strong infrastructure spending, vibrant local entrepreneurship boosted by technology adoption, and major inbound investment in segments like mining. It is in mining that China has played a major role. In Sulawesi, stretches of rainforest have been cleared for mining operations. What they're after is nickel, a key component for making the batteries used in electric vehicles. Indonesia has the world's largest known reserves of this valuable mineral. In 2020, Indonesia banned the export of nickel ore. Investors, mainly from China, built smelters in the country, adding value to its metal exports and creating jobs.
10 years ago, I think from all this nickel product, including the stainless steel, I think it's only like $2 billion. Now, I think last year we are about 33, 34 billion US dollar, And with all this ongoing project that we have today, I'm quite confident maybe it is going to be about 40 to 45 billion in the next 3 to 4 years,
Nickel refining has created many jobs in Indonesia. But Indonesia aims to export much more than just refined nickel. It wants to supply batteries and eventually EVs. It's part of an economic development policy known as downstreaming, a critical pillar of President Prabowo's plans for the country.
The terminology of downstreaming is we would like to create more value added. So how you create that is actually you build an ecosystem of industry that actually connected each minerals that we have in Indonesia. So when you are talking about this downstreaming, we are not only talking about, nickel downstream, we are not only talk about the aluminum, we are not only talk about the copper, but how actually you can create the ecosystem for all these critical mineral so that your product can compete better in the international market. I think to create a lithium battery, you cannot only rely on nickel. You need lithium, you need cobalt, you need copper, you need aluminum. And Indonesia have almost all of it except the lithium. So that's why I think the idea to create this ecosystem is very feasible.
Just as China has been the main partner in building Indonesia's nickel sector, it is again the frontrunner in Indonesia's downstreaming dreams. China's BTR New Material Group and Singapore's Stellar Investment jointly invested $478 million to build a plant in Indonesia producing battery materials. The plant opened in August 2024. Another $299 million has since been committed in a second phase of investments. China's battery giant CATL has partnered an Indonesian firm to invest up to $1.2 billion in a battery cell manufacturing plant. PT Vale and Chinese battery metal producer Gemco are building a $1.42 billion plant to process nickel ore. And further downstream, Chinese electric car manufacturer GAC Aeon is set to open its factory in Indonesia in 2025, targeting an initial capacity of 100,000 units per year. China EV giant BYD also announced plans to invest $1.3 billion to build an EV plant in Indonesia. The factory is expected to commence operations at the end of 2025. The biggest investment announcement came from Chinese battery material maker CNGR Advanced Material Company, who said it is planning to build an integrated production facility in Indonesia worth $10 billion.
Indonesia's leaders have consistently spoken about strategic balancing in its foreign policy. But when we look at the downstreaming efforts, a lot of it seems to be dominated by Chinese companies. Why is that?
If you see the whole value chain of this lithium battery and the electric vehicle, I would say China have the most advanced and efficient technology. If you see top 10 lithium battery companies, you see many Chinese companies, you see 3 South Korean companies, you see maybe 1 or 2 Japanese companies. But you will not find any US or European company inside the list. It is what it is today. One thing that we can make sure is, we have a commitment for international cooperation. I think it's very important, the commitment from Indonesia is that we want our product to be freely sold to any countries. So it's not only to China, it's not only to Japan, South Korea, US, Europe. As long as this is beneficial for both countries, we are very open. Yes, at the beginning, a lot of the Chinese company, but now I think you see that a US company is investing, Ford is investing in Indonesia, South Korean company is investing in Indonesia. Still, even that, they still have a joint venture with the Chinese.
China's strategy, Pearl, is that it would like to make other countries dependent upon them economically. At the same time, China would like to establish military dominance over them. And this combination of economic dependence and military dominance, they believe, should compel other countries to become more accommodating or less confrontational towards China and its long-term goals and interests. And we all know that one of China's long-term goals is to consolidate control over its claimed territories along its periphery. And this is going to, run up against many countries along China's periphery in pretty much every direction. And Indonesia would, of course, be one of those.
Why should China have any military ambitions against Indonesia? We have been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and between China and Indonesia, there have never been territorial adventures against each other. So I think to have anyone in Washington coming up with such claims of Chinese territorial ambitions or military ambitions against an important country like Indonesia is really barking at the wrong tree.
In October 2024, Indonesia's maritime security agency Bakamla posted a video showing how it handled an encounter with Chinese Coast Guard vessels in the contested North Natuna Sea. Indonesia's state-owned oil company Pertamina said in a statement that the Chinese vessel was disturbing the activity of a survey being conducted. China's 9-dash line, claiming most of the South China Sea, overlaps with Indonesia's exclusive economic zone near the oil and gas-rich Natuna Islands. Indonesia has been bulking up its defense. In January 2025, when Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba visited Jakarta, it was announced that Japan will give Indonesia 2 high-speed patrol boats and boost regional maritime security cooperation with Indonesia. In June 2023, the Indonesian military was the only unit from ASEAN participating in a 2-week-long multilateral war games exercise in Australia. Experts have pointed out that these war games, called Exercise Talisman Sabre, are designed with the purpose of preparing to battle China. 2023 was the largest ever iteration of those exercises. But in a careful act of balancing, it was also announced in 2025 that Indonesia and China are planning for joint military exercises.
当前国际形势变乱交织，地区安全也面临着诸多的挑战。那么在这样一个大的背景下，作为2个发展中的大国，中印尼深化防务安全领域的合作，必将为构建具有地区和全球影响力的中印尼命运共同体提供有力的支撑。
We also welcome the establishment of a new consultation mechanism between our foreign ministries on disarmament, arms control, and non-proliferation, which is an important step toward shared security goals.
How do Indonesians perceive China? Is it a trusted economic partner or a military adversary?
I think we always see both sides, right? I think we do see China as an important market, also an important source of goods, components, investments, and tourists. So there's the positive side of China. But there's also on the downside, whether it's kind of the perceived potential of military threat. There's also other issues related to labor and Chinese workers. There are some other issues that are more on the negative side. So I think what needs to happen is, if you reflect back to the 70s, we had kind of similar issues when there was a lot of Japanese investment coming in. Both sides need to learn how to accept each other's differences. And specifically on the Natunas, I think there's always been the discussion that let's try to look at it pragmatically. Can we look at whether we can develop this jointly, economically, right? That's a more pragmatic view.